wins will Auburn football have this season? All the fellas are here to discuss it, and we definitely want to hear your input on the latest edition of the Midweek Rapport. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of the Mid-Week Rapport, brought to you by our show sponsor, auburnsports.com. Guys, show them love. Head over there and check out their content. We definitely want to show them love for being one of our day ones and partnering with us to bring you some amazing content. We want to thank you guys for hanging out with us as well. One of the ways you can support us, it's the free kind of support. Just share this content with your friends, man. Group chat, social media, whoever you know enjoys Auburn content. Share this with them. Smash that like button. That helps us as well. That's also very free. You can also subscribe to our channel, which is free as well. Please do that. It helps us out a ton. Now for the ways that may cost you a little bit, but you get amazing content in return. If you do so, I can tell you how to be a member.
Super easy. The join button is right there. Decide which level you want to participate at, whichever fits your budget best. If you are a patron member, then you get to be able to do stuff like win free tickets. So congrats to I forgot his name. Colby Ritchie. I forgot his name already. Colby Ritchie, who won tickets to this game. Colby, if you are watching this, make sure you get in touch with us by Friday, or we will have to give your tickets to somebody else. We want to give people plenty of time to respond to that. So Colby, let us know what's up. But it's that time, man. We're starting to give away tickets to the game. So go ahead and sign up. And then you don't want to miss the game day content and game week watch the films that we got going on. If you are a member and you want to gift memberships like Auburn Dad did in this stream, you can do that right now from the live chat and make sure someone else gets a free month of War Rapport membership on you. Hashtag get your weight up in the live chat to be able to get a War Rapport mug courtesy of War Eagle Oil. Hashtag get your weight up. We'll be doing that giveaway right around the 1 hour mark.
Gentlemen, it's here. College football is here. Week 0. That's so weird to say. Week zero is here.
It's week I.
Yeah, well, listen, it's stronger than any other week we've had leading up to this point because it's games being played.
Yeah.
What game y'all checking out, man? What game y'all looking forward to seeing this weekend?
I mean, you can't not be interested in UMass, right? Like, you got to be interested in that game. I'm very interested in seeing Notre Dame fail at anything. Caleb Williams defends his Heisman campaign. There are a few, storylines, I think, for week 0 that might be like halfway interesting.
I was looking at USC playing San Jose State, and I got triggered just by how we looked when we played San Jose State last year, which, by the way, we'll talk about last year and how we thought Auburn was going to do. But I am interested in the UMass New Mexico State. I don't know how much of that I can take. UMass was 1-11 last year. More on that later. They were 1-11. They were not good. I'm curious if they've improved any from last year. If I had to guess, they probably haven't. But I'm going to just see how they look this upcoming Saturday. Ike, I know you're going to be doing some reconnaissance. Is that the game you're checking out? Any other games you're looking forward to?
And Vandy. Those are probably the only games that I'm going to be checking out. UMass and Vandy, trying to see what they look like week 0. Give us some insight into the kind of system they're going to be running with UMass and what kind of defense they're playing. So I'll try to get some film stuff together for that. That's one thing that we are adding, by the way, this year. I'm going to try to do some on the team that we have coming up. So didn't have time to do that last year. This year, I should have the ability to go and do that. So we'll see if we can get that cracking for you guys this year as well. So UMass film coming up next week, baby.
Yeah, that's right. I can give y'all film. Right away.
Hey, wait until I say it this time.
Hey, before we move on, guys, Colby actually reached out to me just now and said he has been a season ticket holder for a while, and he wants to throw it back.
Okay.
He wants to throw it back. So check the community. We will be posting the backup winner in there in just a second.
Okay. B-Will, who you watching this weekend? Are you watching football this weekend?
Yeah. But none of it's gonna be good. None of it's gonna be interesting. But in the words of actually, I don't know who wrote the song or the version of the song I'm thinking of. We've been spending most of our lives living in a bettor's paradise this weekend. College football betting is back.
That's actually originally a Stevie Wonder song that they parodied into the Gangsta's Paradise thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know who did the parodying though, because
yeah.
So I knew Stevie wrote the original. I just didn't know who wrote the other one. So UMass is terrible. All right. I'm betting against them. No matter what, I'm betting against them. I don't even know who they played. They could play FCS team. I'm betting against them. That's how it's working. Vandy should be much better.
They play New Mexico State, right?
Yeah.
They're also not that great, but they're better than UMass, so I'm betting against them. I'm betting against UMass. All right. And
Two
then
teams that we play this year, by the way. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
The interesting one will be USC and San Jose State. Like San Jose State gave us a run, but they gave us a run last year. We weren't good when we played San Jose State last year. I'm betting, I don't know, because I don't really trust Lincoln Riley. All right. I don't trust him.
Then
they're gonna put up a bunch of numbers.
Last time we saw Lincoln Riley, wasn't he getting beat up by Tulane?
By Tulane. This man lost to a group of 5 school with a Heisman winner, a Biletnikoff winner. He snatched the best player from like 5 different Pac-12 teams and lost to Tulane after losing the Pac-12.
Yikes.
Okay. I'm going to watch. I mean, the number's going to be, I'm sure they're going to throw the ball all over there. It's going to be cool. I just want to see. But I would bet on USC to cover. All right.
Okay.
They got something to prove. Offensively, they should be able to cover the spread. Should.
Yeah. If you start in that conference, you should be able to throw for like 3,000 yards by game 8. Those are the rules of the pack, right? Start at quarterback, and here's a free 1,500 yards to start with. Because we won't play any pass defense in this league. That's going to be even worse when they're on Apple TV, right? Like they're going to be on, and that their new TV deal.
No, they didn't land that deal.
Oh, they didn't even get that.
They were offered an Apple TV deal, and the member institutions were like,
"We're too good for that.
We're too good for that." And then they all left. That's awesome, man. Oh man. But yeah, so I'll be watching USC. I want to see.
That's the can't get right conference.
Yeah, embarrassed.
That's the can't get right conference for sure. Listen, let's go ahead and in our own fashion. This is probably going to be one of the longest weekly games of previews we've ever done. Hawaii at Vandy. Let's rush through this, guys. I know this is going to require a lot of thought. Who you got?
I say Vandy to win and cover.
Yeah, I don't know about no covering and all that, but I know I got Vandy to win. Yeah,
I think Vandy represents the SEC well here. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know about covering.
Playing at their middle school stadium, they're gonna be playing at.
I like Vandy. It is very middle schoolish.
Yeah.
I can't believe their stadium's not ready for the first week of the season, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Vandy.
All right. All right, are we done with week 0? I mean, that's pretty much.
I mean, that's the only SEC game that's being played. Are we even going to keep track of that? Like,
Auburn will not lose this weekend.
We'll keep track of that.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
we will remain undefeated for sure
after this weekend.
After this weekend, no losses for us. It's gonna be a good week. Listen, gentlemen, we're gonna the purpose of this show is to talk about wins for Auburn.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. We just decided this last minute. Called an audible. Let's talk about how we looked, how we fared last year. Okay. This is embarrassing. All right. This is what I predicted last year. Yeah. I said we was going to beat Mercer, San Jose State, Western Kentucky. I was 3 of 6.
Missouri. You got Missouri.
I said Missouri. Yes.
Yeah.
I was 4 or 6 there. So I was so Ole Miss and Penn State. I was sadly mistaken. Toss. You can toss this whole prediction in the trash. Arkansas. You could toss this whole thing in the trash. This is
actually, you know what? That's not even the right graphic for UC. Go to the next one because I got to redo yours. Give me just a minute. Go to the next one.
This is my.
I got to do my shit. Time to face the music.
What say you, Mike G? Listen, here's the thing. Y'all, they can say what they want about us. We can circle back around and be like, you know what? This was stupid. We were wrong. So this is us. This is us owning the sunshine we pumped into the Auburn fan base and the War Rapport family.
Okay, let's talk about this way first, right? Essentially, this is potentially either a 5-7 team right here is what I predicted, right? Because these are toss-ups in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You got 7 games as balls. How is that end up being 5 and 7?
Right. But I'm sorry, 7 and 5. I'm sorry, 7 and 5. Right, like so. This was potentially that's what that was, right? Plus 3 wins, which would have been 10 and 2 if they won all the toss-ups, which we obviously did not expect them to do that. It was just like, hey. So when I evaluate this, I think like how close were these games? You know, obviously they pulled out Texas A&M. They lost Penn State. And what was the score of the Arkansas game?
Bad.
Yeah, bad. We got bludgeoned. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that was that belonged in the loss column, obviously because of the gap there. Think about the rest of these games, though. So, you know, LSU, man, probably belonged in the toss-it column, but I really felt like they would win that game, and they gave it away at the end.
They should have won that game, but yeah,
they gave it away at the end. So Auburn won the gimmies. They tried their damnedest to lose Missouri, and Missouri literally was like, "Here you go, you can have it back." So that saved this from being a complete disaster. But you beat Mercer, you beat San Jose State, you beat Western Kentucky. Mississippi State, man, again, overtime, and Cadillac's first start as a head coach. Like, you just fired the coach. He comes in, and they just barely lose this game. This is why when people think the floor is below 5 wins, I just don't see it, man. This season was chaos. It was absolute chaos. And they still snuck 5 wins out of this. So, yeah, listen, this was a mess. I mean, you own this. This was a mess of a prediction. Obviously, Georgia and Alabama were losses. Penn State, you know, again, they did everything they could to lose that game. Again, fumbling, you know what I mean? Like, just so many things when you look back on this, you're just like, wow. Like you know, it just, man. But I'm glad that they got at least 1 in the toss column. You know, it was just weird. I mean, yeah, they got Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They got Texas A&M, right? Yeah. So I mean, the battle of the 2-win teams or whatever. But this season was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster, and you can still look back on it and see some close games here, right? So Auburn is not that far off from being a bowl team, and my prediction for this season may end up being pretty similar. Where, like I said, again, the floor I think is bowl game, or should be bowl game, and the ceiling will be somewhere between 8 and 9 wins if the ball bounces their way. So. It was disappointing. It was disappointing to not be at least one of the Mississippi schools. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man. Just I don't know. Apparently, there's a rivalry forming. Is Ole Miss a rival now? Is that they keep trying to make that happen from their end? Look at Ike's face. I don't know if that's a rivalry now. And it'll be interesting season. I mean, with Hugh Freezes coach, it might be. Right? Like, maybe? No? Okay.
I mean, they said that y'all aren't going to take our coach, and then they thought we were going to take their coach, and then they said, y'all can have our coach. And then we didn't get their coach, and then they were mad at their coach, and they had to pay their coach way more money than they can afford. And then we ended up getting an Ole Miss coach, and then he promptly stole Xavier Miller, Shane Hooks,
O-line coach.
O-line coach, and at least one other recruit. That's just in the transfer season, right out of their hands. And what happened after that? Well, they were doing really bad in recruiting overall, and then they got one, Kamarion Franklin.
They paid him up like $1 million less than they're paying Lane now.
Right. So what it looks like is that what they won is the right to overpay for everything. They won that from us. You got it. You want to overpay and spend your little money? You win.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yes, they have won.
Yeah. Guys, I realize I did not do a good job here. I'm going to do a better job.
Oh, I did worse.
Year.
I did worse.
Oh yeah, we got your C corrected. My bad.
I did worse.
Let's get this off the screen.
Yeah.
So clearly, I was smoking potatoes laced with weed last year.
He had 2 toss-ups.
we won one of them though.
Yeah.
I got but sheesh.
Man, that boss column was.
I was on drugs last year.
Penn State, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU. Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm
got the gimmies.
I'm stupid.
I mean,
goodness. Yeesh. Yeah, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, this was rough.
See? How could you know? How could any of us know? we didn't know.
I knew about Penn State. What was the worst loss on
Arkansas?
Arkansas was the most. Yeah. Like, there's no way we should have gotten beat down like that by Arkansas at home, dog.
Yeah. Oh man, that hurts.
That
so
was
bad.
Listen. That show. Mike was somewhere clinging on for dear life. Bless his heart. Around this time, he was off camera. Ike was covering the game. Me and B Will came on the show and was like, Harsin is gone.
Boy, those are some rough days, boy. You get beat down like that, you gotta get on camera and talk about it. It was rough.
I was like, I think we've seen the last of that guy. And 2 days later? 2 days later, he was gone. That was rough. Penn State was bad. Penn State was I think a close second for me, because that was the revenge game. I think we had hopes for that game because we were like, we played them the way that we did in Happy Valley, Harsin's first year. And I was thinking, you know what? We're going to return the favor. And the way they ran the ball, you remember they couldn't even run the ball on us a year prior. And the floodgates goodness gracious. That one hurt my soul. And that's when I begin to realize something ain't right in my spirit. Something ain't right with this season. And it just got progressively worse week after week. Can we please remove me from this? Okay, we've talked about Mike. We're on B Will now.
Oh, he had the 2 biggest beatdowns as bosses. Oh my God, bro.
In my defense,
I didn't even know that. I didn't even notice that until just now, dog. The 2 biggest.
I need no
beatdowns.
defense. I regret nothing. I regret nothing. Once I make the picks, I forget about it. It's gone. It's over with. You're done. You got to let it ride. We didn't know what we didn't know. There are known knowns and there are known unknowns. And there are unknown unknowns. But how could we know the unknown unknowns? We knew what we knew. And we didn't know what we didn't know. Now, what I know, I'm ready to stop talking about this.
Yikes.
This is so bad I'm going to start talking.
But we did win Texas A&M, who we had.
That's a toss-up. Yeah, I mean, that was.
I think that's the universal toss-up that everybody got.
Everybody had in there. A&M was like, hey, we should. This could go either way, and it went Auburn's way. But it was, man, and it ended up being one of the most significant games of that season, right? Because of the storyline. You know, Caddy, all his former teammates showed up. You know, Auburn fans treated it like it was a championship game.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. So like this was, I don't know. I felt like it belonged there. Certainly. What was the final score of that game? 13-10?
Yeah, like I said,
13-10.
Absolutely pitiful to more pitiful.
It
was a bad game, dog. Like I've
was.
gone back and rewatched.
That was one of those wins where you was like,
it was a bad game.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the Caddy storyline, we'd be talking about that game very differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
if that game had gone the exact same way and Coach Harsin was the coach, we'd feel terrible about that game. Yeah. Let's be clear. It was that bad a game.
We will be wondering why haven't they pulled the plug?
Right.
If he was still there. Goodness gracious. Okay. Anything else, B, before we move on to Ike?
I regret nothing.
You regret nothing. That's the opposite of me. Ike, you ready?
Let's do it.
Begrudgingly.
Now, Ike had the more reasonable.
Yeah, I mean,
Ike had the more he had the more reasonable one there.
Yeah, he put Alabama in that toss-up.
Yeah, I did.
In Tuscaloosa. So
yep.
Where's that?
Yeah.
Man.
Wow. And technically, Penn State and Arkansas were not even close to toss-up games. LSU and Texas A&M toss-up games. We won one, lost the other one. So I was good there. Bama was not close to a toss-up game. We lost Mississippi State and Ole Miss. So there's that.
Georgia was just
I'm telling you, not beating either of the Mississippi schools screwed everybody. I mean, that's probably the most shocking thing about this schedule is they couldn't pull out a win against either one of those schools.
Yeah, Mississippi State was the one that was probably the should have won.
Yeah,
but
this is hilarious by Jeremy Eccles. There has to be a toss-up limit.
No,
not last year.
Doesn't.
Not last year.
Yeah,
that whole 2022 was one big toss.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we're being honest, Missouri should have been over in that toss column. San Jose State should have been over in that toss column.
If we wanted to look back at this for the sake of accuracy, what are we calling a toss-up game? Something that was decided by one possession either way? So we lose it by one possession or we win it by one possession?
I'd say 10 or less, not necessarily one possession.
10 or less?
But yeah, I think anything 10 or less is a toss-up because that means it, like you legitimately could have. And I think it's really more so not necessarily even about the score. It's about kind of how the game felt, right? Like, because you could be a one possession game at the end, but like you score a late touchdown to put it there. Right. Like LSU was a game that we legitimately, that was a toss-up game. Like if we go down and actually score one of the 3 times we had it in the red zone or something stupid like that, we win that game. If we don't give up a fumble, scoop, and score, we probably win that game, right? Like LSU, a true toss-up game. Mississippi State went to overtime, toss-up game.
Yeah.
Missouri, true toss-up game, right? Like that game was in question up until the very last play. And Texas A&M was a true toss-up game. Though we won that game was very ugly and close throughout. I would not put Ole Miss, in retrospect, as a toss-up game. I wouldn't. San Jose State really wasn't a toss-up game. Like, it was ugly early, but that game was not significantly in doubt once we got into the second half of that game. But there's no universe in which Alabama, Arkansas, Penn State were toss-ups.
Right.
Georgia, not a toss-up, right? Like, there's a legitimate beatdowns of those teams by those teams.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, listen, this was fun.
It depends on your definition of fun. We made fun of ourselves, but
it was rough.
It was rough. But listen, we're good sports about it. And I think this is probably why we're probably gonna be a little bit. Well, I'm gonna be a little bit more gun shy this time around. Even though I have some hope.
More ridiculous. Let's go.
More of the ignorance here.
That's right.
All right, let's get to some of you guys supers and your comments here. Daniel Moultrie, 8 to 9 guaranteed wins, in my opinion. Hope so.
We will see.
AU alum 94 says, I'm actually ticking up from where I was a month ago. Mike G, even the coaches, been hyping Holden for him to finish third in his QB race. I'm more jacked about our QB situation. I'm going 8 dubs.
Yeah, I think that can't stress enough. There is this kind of like default in fans' minds that if you didn't win the job, it's because you're not good. And when you're building a good program, you can have more than one guy that's good and have a tough choice between who to pick. And all reports were that Holden played well this camp, but there were some other factors that were difficult, right? I think so. It'll be interesting to see. But listen, man, I Holden is a kid that it's hard not to root for him in life in general, right? He's just such a good kid, man. I hope he gets a shot, whether it's here or somewhere. But I want to see him get a shot to play quarterback. I'll be rooting for him, no matter what.
For sure. Stephen Neely says guarantees he has UMass, Cal, Sanford, New Mexico State, Vandy, and the state of Mississippi. So we reavenge our losses from 2022 against the Mississippi schools. We will definitely see. I'm here for it though. Okay. Auburn Dad for Life says football is here, baby. Yeah. Love the War Rapport fam and AU. Love you too, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you being here with us. Quez Evan says it's Amani Smoot's birthday.
Hey,
give your guy a shout out. Happy birthday, fam. I think for Amani, for his birthday, someone needs to predict all bosses. When we do a prediction. I'm gonna go be Will for that since he's already ready to top last year. So happy birthday, Amani.
Happy birthday, man.
Steve Valentine says, just wanted to say thanks for everything, guys, from off season through football season. Y'all keep us linked together and involved. Love the War Rapport. Steve Valentine, we appreciate you, man.
It's a community, man. Yeah, I appreciate this comment a lot.
Appreciate you, man. Jazzy, he says we didn't toss it in any of those games.
You tossed your lunch. That's what you did. You threw up all over that graphic.
Oh, goodness. Oh, man. Philip Cameron, welcome. Thanks for becoming a member of
I really want these tickets.
Jazzy returns. What you say, Mike?
He said, I really want these tickets.
Yeah, everybody wants to go see the U Massacre.
Oh, man. Listen.
The up-tempo guy said you ass. And there were some very creative names for this one. It's in my notes app. I will share it on Twitter. Where they came up with some creative names for UMass.
I'm confident. Jazzy wants to challenge us. Here we go.
Yeah. Welcome to another Jazzy challenge.
Where is Jazzy? Where am I for $100? Think outside the box.
The box.
Missouri.
That's what I said last time. Let's see. He was at the crib last time.
The box is Colorado, and he's outside of Colorado. So Arizona.
Arizona? Okay.
No,
all right.
I don't. I'm just being silly because Colorado's shaped like a square.
If he felt this humidity, he probably is in Arizona. At least it's dry out there because it is wet down here.
I was about to say that's worse, isn't it?
The dry heat? No, it's not. It's great.
I'm gonna go Alaska. He said outside the box. I'm gonna go Alaska.
I'm gonna say Mexico. I'm gonna say Mexico. No idea why. It's at least it's connected by land, so I'm giving it a shot.
Okay, let's see here. Texas? Maybe he's in Texas. Be in Texas, please. Even if you're not, just say you are. That's how this game works, right?
Yes. Let's go Hawaii.
I feel like I want to change my answer. He's not in Texas.
I was gonna say something ridiculous like Mississippi.
Where is I almost said Mississippi.
No one ever goes there.
Right. Not after our schools beat us last year. Yeah, I'm sticking with Texas.
Sticking with Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You can be in Texas for a really long time, you know.
Nobody said Canada.
Canada. No.
Canada.
Yep. Got it.
You don't think he's in Canada?
No. In Canada. In Canada.
That is a good guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Alaska though.
Auburn Dad for Life says Mike G over and under on shutouts this year.
0 shutouts. Auburn will not come close.
You don't think they're gonna shut out?
I'm never saying that again. That word is banned from my vocabulary. So,
that is funny.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
No.
You got happy about shutouts and the floodgates open.
No, they did the exact opposite. Hope that I'm wrong again. So, yeah.
Hilarious.
That's how I feel about that.
Well, y'all, again, share this content with your friends, coworkers, family, those who love Auburn and enjoy Auburn content. Make sure they get access to this video to see us lament our poor predictions from last year. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Pay some bills and acknowledge our sponsors.
This edition of the War Rapport is brought to you by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. When you work out, grill out, and chill out, you deserve the best life possible, and Golden's Cast Iron is here to provide the tools to help you do it. Check them out at GoldensCastIron.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. For all of your motor oil and related products, head over to WarEagleOil.com.
Thank you to the sponsors of the War Rapport, and thank you to those of you who have become members of the War Rapport. We are giving away tickets. Make sure that you are a patron to get in on this ticket giveaway. We appreciate everybody who's done that already. Got a lot of great things coming up this season for our members, not just the patrons, but patrons, of course, get a little something special. So we appreciate all of you. If you are a member and you want to give someone else a membership, you can do that right now from the live chat in the same fashion in which Ben Bloodworth, Wesley Hilson, and of course, Auburn Dad have done already in this show. We appreciate everybody who's continued to gift memberships. 1 free month of membership on somebody. YouTube randomly gets that to somebody else who interacts with the content. So thank your fellow War Rapport family for giving you a free month of membership. If you want to get a little free something, this doesn't require anything but a hashtag in the live chat. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up, sponsored by War Eagle Oil. That giveaway will be done right around the 1 hour mark. We want to give another special shout out to Stacks Pancake Kitchen. They are currently a sponsor of the War Rapport. If you guys have not had an opportunity to go check out Stacks Pancake Kitchen, it's Auburn's newest downtown destination for breakfast, brunch, and lunch. If you like brunch, man, I'm actually a big brunch eater myself. Like, I like the idea of eating non-breakfast foods for breakfast, and I like the idea of eating breakfast foods at non-breakfast times. So brunch is perfect for me. But if you are a big brunch person, Stacks has got you covered over there. They're located at 145 East Magnolia Avenue, available for online ordering, catering, and private events. They also have an outside area where you can watch football games, so you can pull up over there during football season, especially for away games, and get a little something for your brunching on, your lunching on, whatever. Stacks Pancake Kitchen. Go and check them out. Also, support for the War Rapport is brought to you by BetterHelp. We really appreciate BetterHelp for coming on board and sponsoring us this time of season. Listen, mental health is a big thing that we want to focus on here at the War Rapport. I was glad when we were able to get this one locked in, because I absolutely believe in getting assistance with mental health issues, whether it's just because you have anxiety about something or you're actually struggling with some other choices in life. Make sure that you hit up BetterHelp. You can go over there and get 10% off of your purchase with betterhelp.com/rapport, 10% off of your first month at betterhelp.com/rapport. Again, this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. One last thing, shout out to the other guys on the network, College Loop, Uptempo Podcast. Myself and Mike G had the pleasure sitting down with the guys at Uptempo the other day for their very first ever live stream. They did that yesterday. So go and check that out over there on the Uptempo's YouTube page, but they are with us on our pod network. So make sure that you guys are locked in with them on the podcast network. And yeah, that's it. Let's get to this.
Jazzy says Canada.
Somebody should have said Canada.
Yeah. Ike Porter's. Interesting. Wait, are we going to tell the people about the thing? Or are you saving it?
Oh, my bad. Yeah. So, other things are happening with the War Rapport. So much stuff happening, I forgot. We have a new Fireside that is going to be dropping for you guys probably in the next like 48 hours, something like that. But we had an opportunity to sit down with 3 more members of the Auburn family. Let's take a look at that. Another great Fireside with the War Rapport, brought to you by Golden's Cast Iron and Vince's 2298. Sat down with Dylan Wade, Avery Jones, and Gunnar Britton from the offensive line. So that one is coming to you guys very soon. Can't wait till you guys get an opportunity to listen to the great conversation myself and Mike G had with those guys. I told them when we got done doing, and I haven't rewatched it, but when we got done, I was like, I mean, this might be the best one that we've done so far, just based upon the conversations that we had. And those are the guys I had probably talked to the least of any of the guys that we have interviewed so far. I wasn't there for Holton. He would have been on that list. But of course, I had sat down with Avery Jones before. But this was a really good one. You guys, I think, will enjoy this conversation.
Dylan seems really lean.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, go ahead.
He did. You know, Cole Kubelik has been so high on Dylan Wade since he signed. And these guys, to me, demonstrated an incredible maturity. I had some great questions for these dudes. I can't wait for people to see this. This should be the most improved room on this team year over year. I don't even know if it's debate. This should be the most improved. They had the furthest to go. Mm-hmm. And I like what I heard from him, man. Gunnar Britton is a big dude.
Yeah.
Like, yikes, dude. He is a monster. So these guys understand what they're up against in terms of expectation. And I think they've got something to prove. And, can't wait for you guys to see this and get to know these guys a little better. Auburn has some great guys on that line.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm going to grab a few more comments and then we'll get into this year's predictions. Stark Bice asks, who's going to be our top receiver this year? Mike, you got to relax. Okay. I'm just kidding. Who you got?
Sammy Coates. This is interesting. This is going to be to me this is a volume question.
I was about to say I think there's a difference in how I would answer this question.
Yeah,
who's going to have the most receptions? Who's going to have the most yards? And all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. So if you're talking about receptions, you guys know who I'm going with. But yards could be different depending on how much they push the ball down the field. So I don't know what to expect there. So it'll be interesting to see who. When Peyton Thorne's looking deep, who is he going for? Who's the guy down the field?
Yeah.
Or is he even? Yeah, I don't know, man. It just would be interesting to see. If things go according to plan, somebody's going to go for at least 800 yards this season.
I'm just curious just to see who's going to those deep threats. Who's going to be the guys for that. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see this receiver room really get the opportunities to really show what they can do. I think this is a year they finally get to do that. I'm excited about that. I will say that for sure. I don't know who will be the top receiver, but I'm excited to see those guys showcase their talents and abilities for once. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. Next one. Auburn Dad for Life says, Mike, reverse psychology on shutouts here.
Yeah, we got to do something, man. I'm going all in on every single thing I can do to make sure that Auburn gets to 6 wins. It's got to be 6, man. That's got to be the absolute floor of this thing, man. It's a bowl game. And then you go and you win the bowl game. Because if you get only 6 wins, it's going to be against somebody probably not that great. I don't want to see Auburn in the Birmingham Bowl again. It was a nice, easy trip for me and Ike last year to downtown Birmingham. But yeah, I would like to see them someplace else. And for these kids' sake, man, let's get them out of the state someplace, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah. Auburn Dad for Life says that Fireside put a hurt on the food. How was the food, gentlemen?
Yeah,
amazing.
Food was amazing again, bro.
It's always great.
Yeah. Shout out again to Vintage 2298, bro. They killing it with the food, man.
Oh man, we had 2 private chefs show up and just go to town on that cast iron grill. It was good. We had some good eats, and if you ask the players about them, add them on Twitter, ask them how the food was. They'll tell you.
Yeah,
they ate a lot. We had to force them to put their plates down so we could start the discussion. All right, guys, good play away, but yeah.
Nice.
Very good.
Drake Barefoot, appreciate the super chat. He says, I bet those guys ate a whole elk.
Gunnar Britton looked like he ate a few of them. He's a big guy. So, yeah, man, it was good. Again, I've never had elk before they did this. And now it's become like a running thing at these firesides. Try the elk. So everybody's loved it. I haven't met anybody who didn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody who tasted it thought it was good. So
yeah,
nice. Well, listen,
compliments to the chef,
guys. Let's get to it. It is that time. It's time for us to make predictions about this season, y'all. The schedule is as follows. Yeah. Obviously, we get to see UMass in action this weekend as they face off against New Mexico State, who's also the next to last game on our schedule. Let's see our predictions for week 1. Let's talk about it. No surprise here. Everyone is predicting a boss, definite guaranteed win here in Charles Barkley voice. Boss.
Boss it up.
Guys, no surprises in week 1, right?
No.
Nah, listen,
They're bad.
If this ends up being a surprise game, just throw the whole season away, dog.
Yeah. I reserve the right to change my graphic and submit change requests to Ike Jones at the warreport.com. All change requests, because this will be hard.
All right. So no surprises week one. Is there anything that we want to see the offense do well, defense shut them down? Still no shutout, Mike?
Yeah. No, no
shutout.
So.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, they'll get 3 points.
Okay. All right. Cal. All bosses here.
Yeah, listen.
Any concerns about this game here?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
B Will says no. Okay, I like this. B Will says no. Let's start with B Will. No concerns. This is Auburn's going to no issues with traveling out west. They're going to be fresh, play late game. None of that's going to be a factor.
Every time somebody mentions that we lose in the state of California, they conveniently omit that we did most of that losing against elite teams in postseason play. It's not like the state of California beat us down. We lost to better teams when we lost. We are not playing a better team when we go to California. We're playing a Cal team who couldn't compete in the Pac-12, where they give you 10 points just for going to your bench. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Mike,
Auburn
you disagree?
Nothing to do with statistics. No real reason or logic. Auburn has bad juju in the state of California.
Here we go. And then I just say,
I told you there was no logic. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see how they're pulling it together. I do have some concerns. Maybe my concerns will be alleviated after week one. I hope Brian's right. I don't want to be right about this. But I do have some concerns. So we'll see how they're doing on offense by week 2.
Why'd you boss it if you got concerns?
Because I have to.
I got him.
You 100% don't have to. You could have put it as a toss.
No, I have to. I had to put it. I need a solid number of bosses there. And so Cal to pad the boss column.
He came up with his conclusion before he did his analysis and went back and made the analysis fit the conclusion.
Yep, that's it. That's exactly it.
I am curious, gentlemen. What I'm curious to see is, I think Cal is a team that likes to throw the ball.
I mean, they're in the Pac-12, of course they do, or the Pac-4 or whatever.
Obviously. So the reason why I'm not as concerned about this game is that I don't think Cal is known for really running the ball down team's throat, which is my concern with this Auburn football team. I think that Auburn has the potential to show improvement in the pass rush, and we know how experienced our secondary is. So if both things hold true, I like our defense against their offense. And if our offense shows the ability to run the ball like we think they can, I like us on the road against this team. I really do. Even though it's week 2, a lot of different moving parts, I like us against Cal. Ike, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would be concerned with, the question was, are there any concerns? The only thing I would be remotely concerned with is if they're going to be running tempo. It seems to be something that our defense has been struggling with against our offense. But a lot of the tempo stuff that's been hurting us has been the run game in the tempo. So to your point, if they're not going to be committed to the run, I don't know how much of a problem this is going to be for the Auburn defense. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've watched Cal games over the last couple of years to have any idea what they look like. And I definitely haven't been checking for them this offseason to see if they've made any significant upgrades. So not super worried about this game. I think that Auburn should win it.
All right, gentlemen. We might as well go straight to week 4. But week 3, all bosses here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, listen, Samford, I think, is actually a fairly good team. But there again, from a talent standpoint, there's no reason we should lose this game.
Right.
All right.
Agreed. All right, this is where it gets interesting. Let's start with the obvious boss here. Mike G feels good about A&M on the road. Talk to me, Mike G. What's got you feeling bossy about this game?
Well, they got a good record at College Station, but I think this is the beginning of the Jimbo Fisher buyout GoFundMe. I think this is it. I think he loses this game, and then people start talking. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I am betting on Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery having it together by this game. Maybe even underestimating Auburn a little bit with Texas A&M underestimating Auburn a little bit coming in this one. And I like this game on the road, man. I think they out scheme Petrino and company in this one. I really do.
Not mad at that.
So that's why I put this in the boss column. I realize that this could be a toss, right? But the obvious would be to put it on a toss, and I'm going the other direction here. Boss it up. Auburn starts 4-0.
All right, I'm gonna cue this up for B. Will. James Barnett is like, B. Will, really? Why a toss and not a boss? You've been pretty consistent though in this offseason towards A&M, but feel free to kind of explain your selection here.
We have had a nice run. It was a lot of fun last season, being that I've been on the Jimothy is trash for about 3-4 years now, and he brought it all to fruition after his best recruiting class ever in college football history. It was a wonderful season. But then he went and actually, after being ridiculed in the media for being a stale offensive coordinator and game caller, he corrected that mistake. How much he corrected that mistake, we have yet to see. Is he going to give the keys and the responsibility of running the offense to Bobby Petrino entirely? Or is he going to be dabbling in the way, taking a play call or two? We don't know that yet. What I do know is that what we appear to be weakest at is stopping the run. And the one thing that is actually central to Jimbo Fisher's old school sensibilities of how to run offense is to run the ball first. They have running back talent. I still don't know how much offensive line talent they have because they hit the portal and got a couple of guys too. I don't know how much they got. I don't know how much of their offensive line underperforming was due to poor scheme and deployment. We saw that firsthand last year. New coach, do some different stuff. And what do you know? We're running for records at Alabama. I don't know that they were that awful. I know that Jimbo is that awful, but the offense might be out of his hands now. So I can't just call this with the defensive talent that they have, with what I think will be a dedication to running the ball, and that being so far from what we can tell our biggest weakness on this team. I think it's a toss-up. We'll go in there with our strengths, which I think will be running the ball too. I expect a low-scoring game. A shorter game as far as time because both teams will be running it, but I just can't say for sure. Yeah, we're going to go in there and blast them. There's too much we don't know. So I think it's a toss-up.
Lawrence Robinson asked this question, and I'm going to cue this up for Ike. What if Texas A&M loses to Miami before Auburn? I'm thinking I'm going to be watching week 2 Miami, Texas A&M very closely just to kind of see what kind of team they are. I think they played in College Station last year, and this year they will be in Miami. I'm curious to see what they look like. Are they still a logistical nightmare on offense? Like, are they still a mess when it comes to that? Obviously, a team can look different in a span of 2 weeks by the time they play us. But, Ike, are you paying close attention to this game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is going to be the first real test for them of the season. And I say real test just because it's a P5 opponent. But to answer the question, if they lose, they will be on the precipice. Got to throw a collegiate word out there. I haven't used a big word this entire week. The precipice of wanting to put Jimbo on that hot seat by the time Auburn comes to town. So, I've said this before. If Auburn wins that game and they have already lost to Miami, and in week 4 that team is 2-2, it's gonna be bad business in College Station. Bad business in College Station. So I'm not predicting Texas A&M loses to Miami just because I think Miami's talented. I don't think that they're gonna win that game. But I don't really care about Miami either. So if they do win, great for them. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's gonna get really loud in College Station if Miami wins, and we go out there and beat them as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, this is a toss for me. There's so much unknown about both of these two teams. I think week 4 is going to tell us a lot about the trajectory of these two programs after that week. So this is going to be a very big game, an important game for both programs, especially A&M, considering where they are in the Jimbo Fisher era. Georgia, let's see what we got. Loss, and 1 toss. Let's start again with you, B. Will. You feeling pretty optimistic about this one, somewhat, I would say, compared to us.
Come on, let's say pretty optimistic ain't the word. We know who Georgia is, but one thing we have a very good handle on: Carson Beck has not played football yet. He's not really played football yet. The Auburn game will be the first true SEC road game that he plays. I don't know if y'all heard, but it's a pretty intimidating environment.
Okay.
And if you haven't actually played quality football and absorbed that environment yet, we got a chance to get over.
Who do they play? I mean, like before they get there, like who does he play?
Oh, I have no idea.
Good question. Let me look that up for you.
Trash.
Oh yeah, their schedule is uncharacteristically soft this season. I remember discussing that.
Yeah, they've got the weakest, I think, in the SEC in terms of strength of schedule.
That is their first test.
Yeah, that's their first. I've been saying this for a while.
The only P5 school they play prior to that is South Carolina, week 3. That's a home game,
and it's a home game.
It's a home game.
Yeah. So, with all those things being said, y'all know I'm a big fan of continuity. They have a new offensive coordinator. So a new offensive coordinator, a new quarterback, first true road test for a new quarterback. And Mike Bobo is their OC, right?
That is a correct statement as well.
Do y'all believe in Mike Bobo? Like, does he scare you? You feel like he's gonna? Oh man, Mike Bobo's calling the play.
He scared me when he coached for us.
Exactly. All right. And even though this is not particular for this matchup, but I think Georgia just lost one of their top 2 running backs to injury. I don't know if he was top 2 or like 3. I'm not sure. Non-contact injury. So their running back room just got shortened up a little bit. What better way to protect a young quarterback than to come out and run the ball efficiently? Now, again, I don't know if he was going to be a bell cow back for him. Maybe that was like their Sean Jackson, their 4th or 5th running back. I don't know. I know injuries to the room is never a good thing. If it's going to happen, this could be a wake-up call thing for Georgia. Not that it means they have to lose, but do I think we can make it a 10-point or fewer game like Ike was defining toss? Absolutely, it could. We've had 4 games now, and remember, one of those would have been our first true road test, but we got seniors everywhere. Offensive line, quarterback. We got some senior guys in the wide receiver room as well, with one of them already looking like they're going to be a star for us. I think this is a sneaky spot to sneak a really, really good opponent. You can't keep a 6th, 7th year senior in Stetson Bennett there forever. That experience was priceless. That experience paid all the dividends for them last year. He was okay in 2021. He was the reason they succeeded in 2022. And I think a lot of people give a lot of that credit to Kirby, rightfully so. They don't win that with who was the guy that left before Stetson Bennett took over? He got hurt and then he never got back in the game.
I can't think of his name.
They don't win in 2021 with that kid. JT Daniels.
JT Daniels, yeah.
They don't win in 2022.
Jay something, I remember was initials, but go ahead.
That experience, that continuity with the same wide receiver, the same tight end, the same offensive play caller. We're going to see how much that's worth this year. Even with them playing a softer schedule, I think we got a chance to get them in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on this, we could sneak Georgia train. I probably should have put this as a toss-up based upon my own things that I've been spilling on this, and then the definition of a toss being something where it's within 10 points. I could see this game being a toss-up with that definition. I do think that it's unlikely we win it, which is why I put it as a loss. I put all of my toss-up games as ones that I can, in a very easy way, I could see as.
You think this is a game in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think this could be a game in the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mike, do you think so?
No. I'd still believe the talent gap is, but I don't disagree with B's assessment of the quarterback position, right? And what we don't know right now. Like, listen, his outlook on this might change by the time we get to Georgia, depending on how he plays, right? I know they don't play many people, but if you're asking right now, I think that that's fair. So, we'll see. We'll see how Carson Beck plays. We've seen Kirby both pick the right guy and the wrong guy during his tenure at Georgia for quarterback. Right? Like, listen, man, I think we can all universally agree after the fact, Justin Fields probably should have been the guy, right?
He was the more talented guy for sure.
Yeah, right. Sure. And based on how his college career finished up, it's hard to look back at the other two and think, wow, he didn't beat out those guys. So, and that's not to say that they were bad, but he was just that much better. And somehow they still did not project him as a starter. And does Kirby get it right this time? Because remember, he picked JT Daniels too. Mm-hmm. So he kind of got forced into Stetson to some extent, I guess.
For sure. Oh yeah, he absolutely got forced into him.
I give him credit for sticking with him, but picking the right guy at quarterback is hard. It is. I think it's very difficult to project, and kind of reinforcing Brian's point, even though I'm leaving it firmly as a loss because to me it's just more about just quarterback. Like, coaches get it wrong more times than not. I ain't get it wrong a lot, even the best coaches.
Yeah.
So, that rule applies everywhere. It's really difficult to project how a guy's going to play at that position, unless you get one of those can't miss prospects. What if you are can't miss prospect? What we can count on is that if Gus is your coach, you will 100% play below your 5-star rating. So, anyway, yeah, I'm just throwing it straight there. But yeah, I agree with Brian on this in terms of projecting the uncertainty about projecting Carson Beck. Plus, there's a picture circulating of him on Twitter right now. You guys seen this picture of Carson Beck
with the hair?
He looks like an alien, man. Like, it was like absolute worst picture somebody took of this kid and then just started circulating it. It felt unfair. I feel so bad for him. Like, he's been memed at least 100,000 times this week. Yeah. So hopefully he plays like that picture looks come week 5 and Auburn pulls out the win.
We're gonna find out a lot about Beck for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
On this game, like it's gonna be a raucous environment. First road game, interesting test. Depending on how Auburn looks coming off of that A&M game, it's going to be pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, I think so.
So, listen, this is a good place to stop and draw for the mug that we're giving away, courtesy of War Eagle Oil. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. Ike's ready to draw. Take it away. Good sir.
I actually have it up on the screen this time so nobody can complain. Somebody's got to win it. Who shall it be? It is Frankie Freeze. I know I haven't seen that name before, but how
Frankie Freeze, no relation.
Appropriate to have some Freeze win.
Yeah. Look at
so, Frankie, let us know if you are here. We'll be looking out for you. Let's get back to it. People are already saying you're gone. Prove them wrong. All right. Gentlemen, y'all ready? Y'all ready for LSU? Ike, did you have any more? You have any more thoughts on Georgia?
No.
Okay. So LSU on the road. What do we got?
Frankie's here, by the way. Wow.
Hey, wow. That might be the fastest anybody's ever said they were here. His internet is up to date. Good for you, man.
For sure. Real quick, I'll get to that. Hey, email us business at the War Rapport. Business at the War Rapport. We need your physical address, good sir. And that mug will be coming your way. Congratulations, man. Let's get back to it, gentlemen. All right. Not a lot of hope this week. Okay, a little bit of hope at home against Georgia, on the road against what we think may be an improved LSU squad who made it to the SEC championship year one under Brian Kelly. Why do we think that this is a definite L? I'll start with you, Ike.
I just think LSU on the road. I'm not sure that I listen, man. LSU's defense is going to be good. They're going to have a good defense this year. And I think that we've always struggled with running quarterbacks, and another year in that system with a quarterback who can utilize his legs the way that this young man can in Jaden Daniels, I think is not going to be a winning proposition for Auburn. I just don't know that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us to keep the ball away from LSU because they're going to score, in my opinion, in this one. Yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
Be Will.
I agree with exactly why what Ike expressed. Jaden Daniels does not really stretch the field, but he also doesn't make the boneheaded mistakes. He's careful. So he's not gonna throw down to his man if his man's like neck and neck with the corner. Like he's not gonna make that throw, but he will smooth scramble for 9 yards on like a 3rd and 8 though. And they will continue to possess the ball. He will not, he just won't do some of the things that dual threat quarterbacks tend to do, which is they feel so powerful because they can usually out athlete everybody that they take some risks that others, more careful quarterbacks don't. Jaden Daniels doesn't do that though. So I don't think we're going to get away with eating off of their mistakes. And one thing that we haven't talked about yet is even though we are a very senior-laden team because of all the transfers, none of them have been in the environments like what it will be like in Death Valley, likely at night. And I say that because that's our luck that they put us there at night. They would have gone to Texas A&M, but from everything I've heard, Texas A&M is not that intimidating an atmosphere. And I've heard that multiple times. Even did you go on the road to Texas A&M?
No, I haven't been to Texas.
You haven't been there yet. Yeah. They were just, I remember Kirk Herbstreit was like, yeah, I get it. The midnight yelling stuff, but it was like, that's not intimidating. I was like, it's not? Okay, cool. Glad it's not. But we got a lot of guys who haven't been, like they've been to some of these big schools to play as the away games, but that wasn't an SEC rival that you were playing. Like y'all came in as the underdog who didn't have a chance, and the crowd was crazy, but these games at LSU, when you're Auburn, Alabama, or Arkansas, it's a totally different thing. So I hope it doesn't shock them. I hope it doesn't intimidate them. I don't think Cal is that environment, so I don't think we'll get that real test with Cal. Texas A&M, by all reports, it's not LSU. It's not the Swamp. It's not Jordan Hare as an away team. This will be probably the most hostile environment they play in all season. And hopefully that's not the reason why, but I think LSU doesn't really have enough weaknesses. I don't think they're elite anywhere, but they don't have enough weaknesses for us to take advantage of it. We have one or two, so that worries me a bit.
Mike, thoughts?
It's in Death Valley, so there's that. I don't like that, and it's going to be the last year of the SEC West. I hate Brian Kelly I hate Brian Kelly the way B. Will hates Jimbo. I just don't like this guy, man. He's not good for society. But he's got a lot of talent, and he won the West in year one, and it's just really hard to ignore. Now, do I think he can repeat? I stand by this. For every team in the SEC West not named Alabama, it is more likely year over year that you will actually regress in terms of record than progress, right? So, like, I just don't see. I don't see them having the same repeat type season, but I still feel like mid-season on the road, at LSU. I don't like this game. There's a lot I hate about this game. Maybe Auburn has it rolling by this time, but I think they lose this one by at least 2 scores. Like 10 points. I think it's maybe a 10-point loss. I think it can be competitive. It can still be competitive. But, ultimately, maybe it's a 3-point game and they score an extra touchdown in the fourth quarter and Auburn loses by 10, and the final score looks something like 30-20. But I don't like this one at all right now.
Yeah, I think for me, this has a lot about when we catch LSU. To me, this kind of reeks of 2013 where I think Auburn may be turning the corner, but just not enough time to really get LSU. I could be wrong, but I think with Auburn still having to figure out a lot and obviously being battle tested by this point, I expect them to put up a game against LSU, but as far as turning the corner in a way to win it, we'll have to see. But this is a tough game, especially coming off of Georgia.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that next week. We play who Ike?
Broken Ugly.
Miss. We got some bosses on here. It's gonna always be a boss for Ole Miss for a while, for the foreseeable future for me. Mike, you got this as a toss.
Yeah, why?
Explain yourself.
I still have a lot of questions here. I mean, Quinshon Judkins is the real deal.
That's a fact.
And as we stand right now, I have concerns about run defense. So Quinshon Judkins versus my concerns about run defense has a toss for me right now. That's it. It's the entirety of my reasoning for this. He is the real deal. And there are a lot of people who feel like he's the best returning running back in all of college football. Can Auburn stop him? Because whoever whatever they're doing at quarterback, he has the ability, he has the talent to take a lot of pressure off that quarterback.
Yeah.
And if Auburn is struggling to stop the run, this is going to be, like I could see them, running the clock out on us or losing a close one or something. I don't know, man. To me, this is a toss-up.
That's fair.
Okay. B. Will, you shaking your head over there. What you thinking?
You said this was about defense, and I thought you were going to mention how terrible Ole Miss's defense was and how formidable our run offenses look so far in preseason. I can't get out of my head that we just ran through them like Swiss cheese under Brian Harsin, no less. So it's not like it was, Caddy took over. No, this is before Caddy took over. We moved the ball fine. Robbie Ashford settled down. We got what we want. But the gap was too wide at that point to get it back because our defense was equally as bad. This is going to be at home. Buddy, we going to beat Kamarion Franklin into our 2024 class.
You know what? I want to change mine. Just
That was
Yo,
good. That was
Just-
good.
that's
That was
bro.
amazing, B-Will.
That's funny. Yeah,
That
you
is
know what?
hilarious,
Boss,
bro.
boss that shit up. Just because you said that. Oh man.
After last season, man, all this little chirping. I know. Plus, what we're not remembering is Hugh Freeze got fired from Ole Miss. Every time you ever talk to or you hear a old player talk about the team that they are playing against, if it's an old team, like, do you want to beat them? Like, oh yeah, I want to beat them. I got friends over there. I want to whoop their ass. I think it's still a little personal for Hugh Freeze, a little bit. So yeah, I think that there's going to be some retribution in a couple different ways, including for the players who were around last year who got to see this not go our way. I think it's going to get ugly.
Okay.
I like it. Anybody else on the man? Listen, got to get those Fourth and Kiffin shirts popping.
Yeah,
for that week for sure. I'm definitely make sure I got my shirt that game for sure. And then that's another thing too. Fourth thing, like, good, come on, y'all. Like, this guy's good for throwing games by going for it on fourth down.
Right.
I feel good about us. Against them. All right. Mississippi back to back. What we got? All bosses here. Ike, talk to me, sir.
I just don't know. Listen, the teams that, in my opinion, scare me is the wrong word, but that I feel like pose a big threat are the ones that I feel like we don't have a chance to compete with up front consistently. I don't know that Mississippi State has turned into that team in this offseason that is going to be really good up front, and they're going to challenge us to have to figure out how to stop the run. Like, they just haven't had those kind of guys up front in a while, based upon the system that they had been running that wasn't requiring it. And so I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And again, this is a team that is going through a lot of changes. I think defensively that they will be better this year, but I think offensively we will be better. So I don't see Mississippi State winning this game, but hey, listen, we'll see what happens once the season starts. But yeah, I can't see it right now.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the following week if no one has any other comments on Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean, rest in peace to great Mike Leach, right? This will be their first season, playing, without him. And I think that some people, there's going to be a lot of feels. I hope that they spend this season, again, kind of honoring his legacy. I think he left a great one. But I hope that we win this game. So, like, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah. Vandy, we got all bosses here, but should we be kind of?
No, screw them.
Okay. No. Thanks.
You are Vandy. Somebody's got to be a doormat. It's you. Stay there.
Even if they are better, so they lost the quarterback that really made things run for them last year. He left. Their most senior defensive end, who I don't know if you can call Elijah McAllister elite, but he, by all accounts, was a valuable piece of the locker room. You lost him. Like, a lot of the good stuff you had,
running back and quarter and wide receiver as well.
You're losing. Like, that's the thing. Even for what Clark Lee did, that was good. He might have all the rah-rah, but you still need the players, man. And if you're Vandy and you stumble upon a couple of 2 or 3 players that are actually decent and they leave, I mean, look, you got to show me all over again. You got to prove it to everybody all over again. It's not because we don't think he's a decent coach. I think you beat Florida and South Carolina? Didn't he beat both of those teams last year?
Yeah.
You beat 2 teams that are way more talented than you. You deserve every bit of credit that somebody's going to send you. But you still need the dudes, man. And you got to try to find them all over again. Now, by November, he would have had 8 games to figure out what he's got and put it all together. That's kind of when he started making his noise last season. But we should have been fine-tuned by then to be a well-oiled machine. I think we go in there and dominate.
Can you believe that they scheduled us for their homecoming?
Yeah. See. Okay. All right.
It sounds bad, but
but it was. They didn't really have a lot of real good choices when you look at their schedule.
Yeah.
They didn't. When I went back, I was outraged by this, and then went back and looked at it, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it. I don't know what else they would have done. There were other options, but there was not a great option based on how their schedule fleshed out.
Let me see.
I hope we ruin it, though.
Let me see. Okay, if you say so, Mike. But let me.
Yeah, we talked about this on a morning drive. We definitely looked at the schedule and we're like, yeah, I don't know. They had a bunch of good options to schedule somebody else, unless they were going to schedule it super early in the season.
Yeah,
I see people talking about our record all time versus Vandy. Screw them.
The 21-21 or something or whatever.
I don't care.
That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Okay. Archie week. Road game.
Archie week.
I think that's a typo. Did I tell you, boss Ike?
Oh, well, maybe. Let's take a look. See, what did you
I think
say?
I had that as a toss. I thought I had that as a toss. If I didn't, I meant toss.
No, you absolutely. Oh, wait a minute. Vandy, Arkansas. Oh, you know what? You did. Somebody else put one in after you did, and I was looking at theirs for that one. You did say toss on this.
So we all have tosses here.
Yeah.
We all have tosses here. B Will. Why is this a toss for you?
It's a toss because running defense is our number one question right now. And I don't think they'll have the luxury of thinking that they're a good passing team. I think KJ Jefferson's okay throwing the ball, but that's not what he's best at. And for his senior season, he's got a new offensive coordinator. I still don't know who it is, but you lost a really good one. You lost a really good offensive coordinator and a really good wide receiver. I think they go, what works here? And they just do it. The best chance is if we run the ball. Like you get silly, simple with it. We're going to run the ball 100 different ways against Auburn because it's the one way we can beat them and control the clock. And that'll be a challenge. That's why I think this is a toss-up.
Mike?
Okay, so like at this point in the schedule, it's November. And, injuries have happened, presumably, like a lot of things that you're beat up by this point in the schedule. Everybody is. Right now, to me, with the experience that they have at certain positions, I've just got this as a toss, man. To me, this is a toss-up. We'll see how it goes. It's on the road. It's November. It's really hard to project this far out. Again, I may feel different about it the week before, depending on how things play out. But right now, I just think this is a toss-up.
In year one, under Harsin, we beat the brakes off this team.
With Bo.
Yeah. We beat the brakes off of them. Last year, Hugh Freezes went in there with his third string QB.
Third string, and then he got hurt, and they had the fourth string in there by the end of the game. Or was that the following game? Either way.
It may have been that game he got hurt. But they had enough.
KJ Jefferson was also hurt that game, just to be fair.
True.
Okay.
There's enough to feel slightly confident in this game, but because of what Arkansas likes to do versus what we, at least up until this season starts, we've proven we haven't been able to stop the run. We'll know a lot more about this team the closer we get to this game about what we can do in our run defense. On paper, at this point, this looks like a bad matchup for us on the road.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So this is why this is firmly in the toss section for me. I don't have enough confidence to say, oh, this is a boss, especially considering what we'll look like from a health perspective at this point in the season. So
yeah, SS Austin saying KJ played. He played, but he was hurt in that game for sure. He was 100% hurt that game. So he played, but he wasn't 100%, like not even close. They were wondering whether or not he was going to play at all to start the game. So,
yeah. So that's my thoughts there, guys. I don't know if y'all have anything else on Archie Week.
Yeah, so like I said, those November games, man, there's just it's a lot to try to project now.
Get this corrected in here away. So
yeah, but I just think, hopefully Auburn has it rolling, and they have an identity by this point in the season, and hopefully Arkansas thinks they had one, but is searching for it. Like, I mean, I get tired if I want Auburn to beat them down for no other reason than they keep comparing KJ Jefferson to Cam Newton.
Yes.
I'm sick of hearing that comparison. There's one Cam Newton. That's it. There may not be another one that comes close for another 30 years. 30.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not him. All right.
Nope. He is not him.
New Mexico State. That's self-explanatory. All right. Bama week.
Ooh.
Screw them.
What you got then, Ike?
Nah, it's with toss, but screw.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure if you was feeling some kind of way. So let's start with you, Ike.
Yeah, it's Bama. Screw them. I don't care. I'm never gonna say that they're just gonna outright beat us. We have a chance, and it's at home. Screw them.
Yeah, it's the Iron Bowl on the plains. Give me a break, dude. This is a toss. And I mean, it's funny how like Bama fans were all like down on Milroe after spring. And now they're all back on Milroe. Like their highlights coming out of how athletic he is, and there's all this stuff. And I'm like, they brought in the dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't know. And then I'm not overly enamored with his coordinators this year. I'm just not. I mean, Kevin Steele fielded some pretty good defenses here, but he also, I mean, you can move the ball in his defenses. And Auburn has Hugh Freezes now. Dude, this is a toss. This is a toss. And I don't care what anybody says. This game, I mean, listen, even if they end up winning it and they blow us out, whatever. Right now, as it stands, it is not crazy to think that this game is a toss. It's just not. You can't look at the history of this game, see Alabama's roster this year, see who he's got at coordinator this year, and not say that at this point in the season, it is unreasonable to think that anything could happen in this game. And is it? I mean, and when I guess when you're trying to decide what's a toss up, you're saying, is it likely that it could go one way or the other? And I think that it is. I think it's very likely that it could go one way or the other, as it is right now. Screw them. Auburn could win this thing right now. They play today. Auburn's got a chance, baby.
Okay. B, how you feel about this?
Everybody went toss. I think this was permanently in the loss column for me last year.
Yeah, it was a road game too. I mean, that like it. Yeah. We mentally like this team has got to get over the hump on the road against Bama.
Yeah, I think everybody understands that, right? Like, it's in Tuscaloosa, chances go down significantly.
I saw a clip of somebody who covers Bama. I think his name was Aaron Suttles. He covers Bama for some publication, and he gave an account of how the wide receivers have been doing in their camp.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
He said this is not somebody trolling Bama. Okay, this was not like an LSU fan saying, I live in Tuscaloosa, but I went to go look at their practice. They were terrible. No, this is a guy saying, listen, I'm covered Bama. He was like, it's not good. They're dropping the ball a lot. He said that at one of the fan viewing sessions, that his back was to the players and the fans were in front of him. And the fans were audibly groaning. And he said he already knew why it was, because the wide receivers were dropping the passes.
Is it reasonable to think that Did Heather Dinich watch that? Because I didn't hear her say.
No, she said that they have a bunch of dudes walking around Bama's campus.
Yeah.
I have been, of all the takes I've had, this one has actually not picked up much steam yet. I'd said a while ago there was something up with Bama recruiting because they were continuously looking for the best running back that they had last year came from Georgia Tech. The best wide receiver they had 2021 was Jameson Williams. He came from Ohio State. And since then, has anybody looked particularly? They haven't stopped recruiting well. Okay, they're still getting 5-star wide receivers, 5-star running backs. Why aren't those guys coming to and bubbling up to the top when it comes to playing time? We got Jeremiah Cobb in here, and we had everybody saying stud. Everybody, we're talking about players, coaches, other running backs, stud.
Yeah.
We see running backs for, I mean, what's the guy who he was the main running back for Bama, not this last season. I think it was 2 seasons ago, Brian Robinson, the most mediocre running back I've seen from Bama since Nick Saban has been there. What is happening? What's happening there? It's on the way downhill, and this is the first time they appeared not to have a transcendent talent at quarterback as well.
I'm gonna tell you, the OC run ended. The run of OCs ended. And they just so happen to have a transcendent player at the QB position, which remedied a lot of their issues.
That's facts. Bryce Young solved a lot of issues for them the last 2 years.
That amazing OC run. I think they went through 3 straight offensive coordinators who were stellar.
Yes,
in a row.
Kiffin, Daboll, and Sark. Yeah, he did. It was a great run.
That was one of the more historical runs in terms of Alabama offense with those coordinators. You could plug and play. It really didn't matter. Like, you were recruiting at a level. You didn't really need anyone all that transcendent. I mean, you had a lot of great talent. Don't get me wrong, but those coaches knew what to do with that talent. It's a little questionable now.
Yeah.
It's a little questionable now, and it's almost like you need someone transcendent to kind of overcome whatever deficiencies are in terms of whatever they're scheming up, play calling, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how they figure it out this year.
Yeah.
Texas is a week 2. That's looking really iffy for them. You remember how vulnerable they looked last year. And again, Bryce Young did, and they pulled it out. He ain't there no more.
Texas fans feel really good about that game.
They should.
They should. I mean, considering how last year's game went, that aids in their confidence.
Was that a neutral site game? Like?
No,
it was at Texas.
It was at
Texas. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit why I wouldn't be as confident as they are. Like, it's going to be different, but we'll see. Listen, I don't care as long as we beat them. I don't care what they do to Texas.
Yeah.
For sure. So, what are we thinking, gentlemen?
Looks like a 7-5 floor here, and B Will has 11-1 ceiling.
Oof.
I mean, tosses aren't guaranteed.
This is
I'm just saying, but if we win
all
the tosses, then you've only got 1 loss on
so
here.
Our ceiling is 10 to 11 wins. The floor is 7.
It sounds so crazy, right? But
yeah, I mean, when I feel more like 9 is more realistic for wins than 10, but I could see a path to 10 wins with this schedule.
Yeah, I mean, what this really says is that this is very likely, again, in my column, a 7-5 season with room for improvement.
Yeah.
That's what this says. A lot of people read this and there's going to be a bunch of Arkansas fans in my mentions after we post this on Twitter saying, if we're not a toss, and they're going to tell us why Auburn's going to be the same team they are last year. Right.
I mean, Arkansas, then tell me all the reasons why Arkansas won't be the same team they were last year.
Correct.
Because they weren't very good. We were just terrible. So,
here's what I would say, Ike.
Goofy behaviors.
We know more about who you're going to be than you do about who we're going to be.
Yeah.
Facts.
I mean, look, all these teams on the schedule, maybe minus A&M. Like, I mean, with Petrino coming in, we know more about these teams than they know about Auburn. And that Hugh Freeze feels like that's an advantage. I would agree with him. You don't know what they're going to be in year one. Think about it. Think about it this way: like coming into 2013 off a 3-9 season, there were just a lot of people who thought there's no way this team is going to. They just won 3 games. But that's how badly that season was mismanaged, and all it took was a change of a coach and a few key pieces, and they made a national title run. Auburn is not as bereft of talent as the result might suggest to the uninformed onlooker that they are. People will just look at the record and be like, you don't have dudes. No, there are dudes on this team. Now, whether they all, they stay healthy and they have depth and all that, all those variables, I get. I'm just saying it wasn't as bad as the record made it look like it was last year. Just wasn't. And then he presumably came in and made everything better. Made the line better. Went out and got another quarterback. Went and found possibly some playmakers at wide receiver. Brought in another good running back. If you think this team improves at all, they're 2 games better than they were last year. With, by the way, the easiest strength of schedule that they've seen in a decade. And so, people will be focused on, nobody's going to like being in Auburn's boss column. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah,
sure.
If you see this graphic and you be like, we're not an automatic win for you. Well, okay. Maybe not. It's the SEC. Honestly, if you play
you could literally
games,
put all of these in the toss column.
Yeah, like six games. You can put 6 games in the toss column. So some of this is projection, but it just is what it is. I'm not going to put something out that says Auburn's floor is 3 wins.
It's
not.
Never
we know
even
that.
done that.
Yeah, we know it's not.
Like Hugh Freeze took an Ole Miss team that hadn't won 2 SEC games in like 2 seasons or something like that.
Yeah,
and immediately improved them like significantly in year one. So I don't see him winning 3 games in year one. Like he's never done that anywhere.
Yeah, we're talking about a conference that just like 2 years ago sent 13 out of 14 teams to bowl games. That is more likely than Auburn winning only 3 games, like regressing year over year. Has that ever happened? When was the last time Auburn had 2 losing seasons in a row?
I don't know.
Yeah. This
Chat.
2 seasons.
Yeah, help us out, man. Add us on Twitter.
Yeah, technically, because we lost the bowl game, we did have 2 losing seasons under Harsin. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. It didn't happen often. Right?
But regular seasons
3?
where we've lost back to back, I don't know.
Yeah, come on, man. I don't know. It doesn't seem very likely. Not when you go back and you look at the blue chip ratio that they still had. And, hear me out. A lot of the dudes on this team are still guys Harsin brought in. Harsin brought in Jay Fair, and they're putting out graphics about him. He brought in Jarquez Hunter. He brought in Keontae Scott. He brought in DJ James. He brought in Jason Jones. There are a ton of guys on this team that dude brought in. They may not be very deep, but what my point is, and this is not me saying, oh, look how great Harsin was. It was saying a lot of the guys people are excited about were on this team last year.
Right.
So there's some, if you believe Auburn can improve, you're believing that those guys are going to be a big part of that. It's not as bleak, again, as the record might suggest to the uninformed onlooker. They're just going to see 5 and 7, and they're going to see, but nobody's going to go back really for real outside of, our base and analyze how close LSU was, right? Look at Mississippi State and think, wow, this team was really that close to 7 and 5.
Well, I mean, again, the dysfunction that we had. Think about the offensive line issues we had last year. That appears to have been resolved or at least addressed. QB issues, that seems to be addressed. That room's better than it was a year ago, in my opinion.
Right.
So a lot of the things that ailed us, at least on the offensive side of the ball, it looks like we have completely different rooms this year. We have a scheme that appears to suit our talent better.
Yeah.
The only question marks I have, and the reason why a lot of those games were tosses, is our defense and how we matched up against some of those other teams, as well as depth concerns. But when you talk about those teams that the games didn't get decided until the fourth quarter, I like us in those games because the issues that caused us to lose those games last year, to my knowledge, they're gone. They're not there this year. So I like us. I like us in some of these games, and until we're proven otherwise, curious to see it.
Yep.
All right, let's get to some of these comments and get out of here. Frankie Freeze, winner of the mug, says, "Oh yeah, guys, we have a new Auburn member to our Auburn family. Just had my first son last week.
Oh,
can't wait to have him watching the War Rapport with me. Congratulations to you, Frankie, for your new addition. That is awesome for sure.
Very dope. Congrats."
A Deet says, "Facts or not, Auburn has more fans in Vandy Stadium than Vandy."
I think there's a good chance of this. I'm going to go.
There's a strong Auburn alumni base in Nashville, so I'm gonna go facts on this one.
Yeah, for sure. Travis Latham says 8 wins guaranteed. Appreciate the super chat, by the way. 8 wins guaranteed, and if the defense can do their part, then 9 to 10 is possible because I feel our offense is going to be off the chain. War Eagle. Again, I think a lot of the things that ailed us in some of these games in terms of our offense, I think I'm excited about our offense this year.
Yeah, more competent game planning, in my opinion, is +2 wins.
Yeah,
+2 wins.
That's what we're saying.
But better game planning and play calling.
That's what we're saying. That's all we're saying by our predictions. Despite how the toss-ups go, we're saying Auburn will improve by 2 games this year.
Yeah.
Damian Postel says 98 3-8 Bowden last year and 99 5-6 Tubbs first year. But different coaches. Already a transition there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a transition this year as well. I just don't think that, like Tubbs' first year, I don't think he had nearly the talent. And Tubbs was not an offensive mind. He was still trying to figure out how to put a competent offense on the field. That's something that Tubbs honestly struggled with his entire time at Auburn, was figuring out how to get a competent offense on the field. His defense has got better, but he made some offensive decisions as far as coordinators and scheme that were curious.
Right.
For sure. Nalsminger, Tony.
Oh, man. Oof. Yeah. Rough.
Anything else before we get out of here, gentlemen? This was fun. This was more fun than having to eat crow with our picks last year, but it got better as the show went on.
I can't wait to see guys with our brethren over at Uptempo and College Loop have, on their Boss It, Toss It, Loss It. It's going to be interesting to just see.
Well, the College Loop has been doing a game-by-game prediction thing. So they have already gotten, I think they finish up this week with Bama, or finish up start top of next week with Bama. So they've put their predictions out there, but I definitely want to see game by game for what they would say is maybe a toss up, even though they've predicted a win or a loss in those games. So it's going to be interesting.
We will definitely see. Ike, tell the people why they should become a member and what's in store for members.
Members, you guys get all kinds of perks during the season. Y'all know how we do. If this isn't your first year, then you know what's up on the game day experience. You already know we're giving away tickets. You know we're going to be doing a lot of film review during the season. So make sure you get your membership active so that we can have that stuff locked and loaded for you. We appreciate everybody who's continued to gift memberships. Again, shout out to the folks who did that during today's live. Let's run back through that. Auburn Dad, Wesley Hilson, Ben Bloodworth, and AU Alum 94, all gifted memberships during the stream today. We appreciate those of you who did that. Shout out again to the guys and the rest of the network, College Loop, Up Tempo Podcast. And don't forget, Just a Sec Podcast is now live. That's where the Amen Corner has moved over. So we're going to have some more SEC content for you guys coming up here. That is going to be audio. So make sure that you lock in with that. If you didn't get a chance to win something, you can head to our website, thewarreport.com, and purchase something yourself. And I saw something come in during the show today. So we appreciate people who continue to support all of the network, because we do have stuff, the Feeling Loopy t-shirt, the Level Up t-shirt, though, there for the other guys in the network. They're there. And then a bunch of War Rapport stuff that's available for you. So go ahead and lock in with that. Again, special thanks to Stacks Kitchen, Pancake Kitchen, for sponsoring today's show, and BetterHelp.com. Make sure that you lock in with all of the sponsors of the War Rapport as we continue to bring you guys the best in Auburn content out here on these interwebs.
And before you get out of here, guys, share this content with friends, coworkers, family, all who enjoy Auburn content or may enjoy Auburn content. Make sure that they have access to this so they can definitely get in on the discussion. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can interact with us because we're putting content not only here on YouTube, but on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram at The War Rapport. You can also find us on TikTok at TW Rapport. That's it for now, guys. We'll be on the lookout for more content this week. Another morning drop on Friday.
Yeah.
We will see you then. Until then, enjoy your evening. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.